See Retro Death already in here talking junk. He all that. You ain't nothing, boy. You ain't nothing. Nothing wrong with you. What is this doing here? Wow, can it be that far back? That's insanity. Pardon me, pardon me, pardon me, peoples. Pardon me. Padme Amidala. My damn phone. I turned my damn phone on. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Wait, what? Wait, what the hell? Clocked it up in here. I see Nintendo guy up in here. What up? And I see Retro Death. Talking that mess. He know I had a handicap playing Smash or not Smash Mario Kart. All right. Yeah. How y'all doing? How y'all doings out there? Y'all little Medea. Tyler Perry Medea. How y'all doing? How you doing? Oh, maybe that's not. That's Norbit. Norbit's woman. I can't remember her name. Who cares? All right. Ah. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. You smoking that stuff, boy? What's wrong with you? What's up? Hello, Game Boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of... What do I call these? I guess I call them Tea Talks? Or, I don't know. I don't really put a name on them anymore. No one cares. Nobody cares. Who cares? No one. All right. So we're going to get into it, man. Let's get into it right now. You know. What shall we do today? Says numbers. I'm just going to call you numbers. 1, 2, 3, W, 4, L, T, or is that IT? I can't tell. 5, 6, 7. We're going to talk Nintendo E3. Well, not Nintendo E3. Well, kind of Nintendo E3. But Nintendo E3. Because we're getting there. And there's not a whole lot of talk. I mean, outside of like the rumors, which we'll talk about as well. Sardonic up in the house. What's up, Sardonic? Good morning to you. Good morning from the other side of the pond. So, because the rumors are exciting, you know, for somebody like me who's been crying. I've been crying for so long. I've been upset and, you know, poo-pooing and talking bad about Nintendo and been hurting Nintendo feelings. So, let's talk some good stuff. But I will say, I'm cheating, right? I'm going to cheat in a minute because I talked about it in my last stream on Sunday, but I don't feel like I really laid it down. And I watched Juice's stream, and I'm like, man, why didn't I make my point better? And I don't think I made it good enough. So the first, 10 minutes or so when we get started here, I'm going to go through that, just one more time and make my succinct point about the people not being, from the beginning, a lot of Nintendo fans not being satisfied with Nintendo, the Switch, I should say. So we'll go through that again because I'm going to cut that off and make that its own video. So it'll be nice and tight and succinct for those wanting to get that point. Amarma, how are things? It's nice to see the live happening. You may be interested, but I'm a musician and composer, and I recently made a rap R&B track that I had an idea for your video casts. If not, it's cool. No, I'd be totally down for that. As you know, I myself am a musician. I'm not as much as a music producer. I mean, I dabble a little bit, but I do music as well. So Amar, hit me up either on Twitter. I don't know if you have a Twitter, or just remind me at some point somewhere. You can hit the email address too, mizzt@gmail, if you want to hit me up there. But yeah, I'd be down for that. If you want to put a track on there and I can put it as my intros, that would be cool. All right. Nintendo, what Nintendo? Hashtag Nintendo. Says Richard F. Andre Walker, all of T's love for Nintendo died when the Wii U did. No, not true. It will never. I don't think it will ever all die. I definitely waned after 2017, 2018-ish, mid 2018 is when it started to wane. I'm like, what's going on here, guys? We got a hot selling console that I said early on would outsell the Wii. I said that. What's going on? Why aren't we getting more stuff? We don't have a 3DS. We don't have a handheld to worry about. Can we get more stuff? Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that too. But anyway, Nintendo guy, I don't get caught up in rumors since some of them may not come true, but I would love it if Nintendo made another Donkey Kong. Yeah, I don't talk about rumors either. And I'm not sure how much truth I'm going to put or belief I'm going to put behind these, but they do excite me. So that's why I'm going to talk about them, because I'd make a video about it anyway because it's stuff that I want to see. So this is just giving me an opportunity to talk about things I want to see anyway. So if it was some other rumor that I wouldn't care about, then I wouldn't even talk about it because I usually don't talk about rumors. But yeah, that's why I'm talking about these specifically. Nintendo guy, Nintendo needs to talk about Metroid Prime 4 this year. It's been way too long. That is true. I totally agree. All right, so like I said, was still a huge Nintendo fanboy. Yeah. Then they stopped giving a shit about my money. True. Sardonic. I have to, because there's Phoebe cussy words in there. I have to approve it. I think there's a way you can turn it off. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it, just in case somebody gets silly in the chat. So, all right. So first off, like I was saying, this is gonna be me reiterating my point about what happened with the build up to the Nintendo Switch and how Nintendo fans were never really satisfied with it. So just like in Juice's video, his live stream, he talked about player essences and Super MetalDaves and their anticipation and them adhering to the lists that I talked about, the list of what things that people wanted. And again, this is not a diss towards PE or Player Essence or Super MetalDave. My gripe is with the audience. I'm trying to hold the audience to account because when these things were going on, they were agreeing with them, but now they just completely forgot about the lists and what people were expecting and how people were reacting. So, like I said, before Switch came out, in the throes of Wii U, people were very upset, about certain things when it came to Wii U. Nintendo fans were, lauding, bad third-party ports, late third-party ports. These are things that Nintendo fans were very upset about and didn't like and complained about. But when it came to the Switch, not so much. But we'll get into that in a second. But I want to reiterate how people were talking about the Switch and what it needed to have. This is before we knew it was the Switch. This is before the reveal. And there was lists, I want achievements, what did they call? I think Nintendo had their own term for it at the time, accomplishments or something like that. I want voice chat. I want, good power. I want third party on par, day and date. All these things that Nintendo fans were talking about and agreeing with. And there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. I mean, that's all fine. Especially at this point. We're talking 20 years after we had a console, more than that. A little bit more than 20 years after we had a console that came out that had online, capabilities, online services and stuff. So you would think at this point, a company like Nintendo, who was very innovative, would move and be ahead of a lot of this stuff. So these weren't, crazy things. These weren't crazy asks. So people wanted, more power. They wanted, at least PS4 power, whatnot. PS4 Pro, maybe even, for the Switch. They wanted, a standalone console. I don't think anybody's looking for hybrid. I think the rumors were coming about it being a hybrid, but nobody was really sure. They didn't really care about that. They just wanted to make sure it was a powerful console that got third-party games. And so when we got what we got, the reveal happened. A lot of people had confused faces. Player S's had, he was confused and he was kind of shocked, and he didn't really care for what was happening as far as the Switch goes at that time. And Super MetalDave as well, because his channel mostly talks about, it's mostly rumors and the secret dealings going on behind that's going to make the Switch, super powerful at some point. And none of that has come to pass. And again, this is no ill will towards him. This is me thinking about the audience and why hasn't the audience held him to account at this point. Because it seems like that's all he talks about, is, the secret power that's going to come, something's going to happen and it makes the Switch acceptable to him, So again, like I said, I knew from the beginning. I said when I saw this thing, it's going to be a huge success. A few months later, I said it was going to outsell the Wii. That was me. So I was always satisfied with it. I liked the idea of the hybrid nature of it. I like the tech and the Joy-Cons. I thought all that stuff was cool, as you can see going back to my channel. But the whole meme came from, especially MetalDave, where it was called Salt Face or Dirt Face or some kind of Twitter handle or something, where they had him with a with some kind of funny face on. It was hilarious. But this, he would come up with these rumors, and he has these what do you call them? He has these sources that know this and know that, and absolutely none of it has come true to this point. So we're talking 4 years of rumor talk about what's coming, and I'm pretty sure not one thing he has said has come true. But there's no consequences. I've talked about this a million times. There's no consequences, and it's infuriating and frustrating for people like myself, who've been on YouTube for a long time, and I've speculated on things that has come to pass. Not a whole lot, but I don't get a whole lot of credit for it, but that's fine. But for somebody who's been completely wrong all the time, there is no consequences. There's no consequences for being wrong. Again, this is not a personal thing against him. This is about what he does with his channel and how the audience does not hold people to account. So, talking about rumors, everybody focuses on the 1 or 2 or 3 things that this rumor person got right. And I'm not talking about Dave now. I'm talking about just rumor people in general. Oh, he's got this right. He's got that right. But if you look at the rights, make a list of what he got right and a list of what he or she got wrong. The list of what wrong or didn't happen is way longer than their list of rights. But yet, these YouTubers, they'll focus on the what he got right part, the 3 or 4 things they got right. Well, he's gotten this right, he's gotten right, but they won't say about the other list, the other side of the what they call T chart, the other side of the T chart, where there's 30 things they got wrong or things that never happened. So that's what I find and frustrating and infuriating. And again, this is about the audience. This is about the people watching. Where are your principles? Like, where do you just sway with? Do you just want good news so much that you don't mind people lying to you? Like, I don't understand that mentality. I really don't. So yeah, talking about leakers and yeah, Super Metal Dave Juice, he just joined. Yeah, so again, this is not ill will towards any of those dudes. I'm fine with both of them as far as I know. Maybe not after this. I don't know, because people are very sensitive. But again, like I said, this is not any kind of personal attack. It's just me pointing out, what I'm seeing, and it's just like, is it? Do we only care about fake news? Do we not care about what? So these people, Super Metal Dave specifically, and maybe some other guys, were talking about the Switch, and before it came out, they were talking about the dock. The dock is going to be a supplemental, basically a supplemental power device. So you put the Switch in the dock, it makes the Switch more powerful, and that's what everybody was running with because they were never happy with the Switch's power from day one. If you see the reveals, how they reacted to it, they were never happy with it. So that's why. And it's not just them. It is also the fan base. And I'll tell you why I feel it's the fan base as well. It's because they run, jump, and dive and skip to these rumor videos like rabid crackheads. Like they have to hear and they just know they're being, at some point you got to know it's just like, this is not happening. But you're being lied to over and over again. So at some point you got to think, man, why am I not, holding these people to account? Why am I still just loving and eating them stuff up? Because you also were not happy with the power of the Switch. Now, if that's the case, that's fine. But I'm just pointing it out. Like, you weren't happy with it. And so that's why, again, all these people run, skip, jump, dive to these rumor videos about more power coming, the Switch Pro and all that coming, because they were never happy with it. They were never happy with the Switch to begin with. And here I am, the so-called Nintendo, I'm on the hate side now. Here I am. I was always happy with the power of the Switch. My thing was that I wanted a little bit of GameCube and a little bit of Wii. I wanted some day and date third-party games, bigger ones. But what I wanted mostly was third-party exclusive stuff. So stuff, because of the power of the Switch, because it's not as powerful as everything else, I was hoping and expecting that we get more stuff like, Rabbids and stuff like Mario plus Rabbids, more things like that to where, okay, this is going to make this system unique to everybody else, This is going to give it its identity, where you have these, like I said, you have these third-party exclusive games because of the, they can't bring such and such game over because Switch isn't strong enough, or they'd have to make too many compromises. So they would make their own version of that game, or they make, something else. That's what excited me more. So I was expecting to see more of that, and we really haven't gotten that. What we've gotten mostly at this point is, Xbox 360, PS3 games, and Wii U ports that would usually be this types of games that I'm talking about, which would be third-party exclusive stuff that gives the console its identity. So that is my biggest gripe. It's not that, I want more games. It has games. The Switch has games, but it just have the games I care about. Like I could rather play a lot of these games on my other console, because why buy a more expensive, late and shoddier version of the game when every Nintendo fan, like I said, complained about that on Wii U. Oh man, these third parties is tripping, it's giving us these shoddy late ports. But you're fine with it now on the Switch because the Switch is selling. Can we just be honest with ourselves? That's all I'm asking. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to continue the way I am here. I'm going to be honest. Can we all be honest with ourselves and say, yes, It's because the Switch is selling well. We now accept these things we didn't accept on Wii U. Can we just be honest about that? And yes, the Switch is getting more games over the Wii U. We know that, but it's not getting anything special. It's not getting enough special. It's not getting enough special that it should be getting, based on the factors, which is no handheld to contend with, no handheld games being made to take away resources. So Nintendo has one console. This is for the first time since 1989. Nintendo has one console that they're making games for. That's it. And so when they've had two consoles all this time, they've made stellar games for both of those consoles. Can we understand that concept? Can we please understand that concept? Okay? So now that we have this situation, I feel like we should be getting more. But like I said, a certain contingent of the fan base was never, on board with the Switch's power. You can go back. I have a video saying respect the power of the Nintendo Switch. I was on board from the beginning. So, but I'm in the outs. This is how twisted up and crazy things can be in this community. So that's my take on it, and I'll leave it at that. All right, so I'm not going to go too far back in the chat here. Retro Death, it's like scalpers. If people buying it, they will keep selling it. True. Sardonic Pickle, yeah, third parties weren't creative with the Switch except Ubisoft. Right. Sengoku, what matters are new games with intuitive gameplay control to a new system. Yes. I'm not saying anything crazy off the wall. That's why I don't understand the backlash to what I say every once in a while. Andre Walker says, lie to me. Retro Dev, the amount of hate that from OJ towards Smash Wii U Online. Oh my gosh, what happened? Yeah, again, this is not an ill will thing. This is a hold you to your former principles thing. You heard it every week about how bad online was for Smash Wii U. It's no better on Switch, my friend, and you don't hear anything. And yeah, you can be honest, be like, hey, well, it is what it is. I've given up as a Nintendo fan. I've given up. That's what they feel inside. I've given up, and I'm just riding with it. I'm rolling with it. I like my Nintendo access. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to rile the fan base up. Honesty, that's fine. If you do that, if you just do that and don't complain about what I do, then it's all good. It's all good. But if you do that and you're dishonest, and then you come at me or for what I'm saying, then that's when I have a major issue. So there we go. Again, no ill will towards any of these dudes. They want to chat, we can chat. It's all good. Whatever. Let's see. That's a great show, by the way. Oh, I got you, Retro. I've never been satisfied with the Switch hardware. That's fine. You can be. I'm not complaining about anybody who's dissatisfied with it. That's fine. But what I'm saying is people who claim to be, who were dissatisfied, and now they have no problem with the Switch, and I'm the bad guy. That's what I'm talking about, Capable Ty. I have no problem if you didn't have. Do I wish the Switch was more powerful? Sure, of course. I want Nintendo games to look as good as they can look. But at the end of the day, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the Switch. But I wouldn't be against more power. So that is what it is. Phoenix Star, there are way too many ports on the NX. Yeah, there just is. And ports are fine. Ports are fine if we can get, strong new games, and we've gotten a few here and there. To me, not as much as it should be. Especially when we had dry periods throughout the year. That would be a great time to put out something, that's unique and only Switch. Let's see. To me, the NX rumors are a waste of time. Animal Crossing New Horizons should be released on the Wii U. It should have been, and it probably would have been, but they didn't want to put it out there because it wasn't selling well, and they knew they were moving on at that point. So, I mean, that's a bit. I mean, I don't have a problem. That's a business decision that I never have a problem with. I'm not. I can't complain, and I didn't. I can't complain that the Wii U didn't have more games, or the Wii U didn't get more games because it wasn't selling well. I get it. I'm not stupid. I know how business works. If the console isn't selling well, you're not going to push games to it. You know, I get it. But you have a console that's selling exponentially well that we're not getting. You know, even the value proposition that we were getting on the Wii U. You know. We were playing last night. We were playing Mario Kart 8 online on a Wii U because Juice no longer has it on Switch. He just felt like he didn't need it anymore, and he sold it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So we all played it on Wii U, and you know, I mean, I play my Wii U, you know, at least twice a week, if not more. But when you're playing with other people. Who are also, you know, fans of the Wii U. We've been doing this for a while. And I'm just looking at, like, all my games from the Virtual Console that are on my Wii U. I'm looking at, you know, thinking about Miiverse. I'm thinking about even, like, what was it called? Animal Crossing. What was it called? The Animal Crossing Plaza. Just cool things like that gave uniqueness to the Wii U. Miiverse, obviously. I don't know if I just said it or not. But Miiverse, and I'm like, that console sold 13 million units. And it got all those things. Here we have a console that sold 85 million units plus at this point. And it has an embarrassing joke of a UI. I mean, it's just bland and dead UI. And I talk about the basement, and the basement is all software. That all software tab, it's going to be kind of hard to see here. But see right there where it says, where is it? Right there where it says all software. And you go into the all, no, stop. This is hard to do because I have to do it backwards. The all software tab here, the basement, like you got to go into the basement there, and that's where all your, if you have digital games, they're all hiding in there somewhere. It's good luck going in there and finding them. And I have a ton of games, as you can see here, obviously. But, yeah, it's just like Wada Wada Plaza. I mean, not even, yeah, just booting it up and seeing Wada Wada Plaza and seeing all those. Like, why can't we still have that? Like, you know, is it because the Switch is a portable and it can't handle that kind of stuff? I mean, Wada Wada Plaza operates without online because it currently does that. It doesn't have online right now, so you can make it super simple. Not that we need Wada Wada Plaza. We don't have to have the same thing every console, but something to make the Switch unique. It's just so bland. It's super bland. It's so bland. I had to make my own Switch. I mean, look how, you know, I got down, and you know, I can't even rock with the. There's no way I can use the Joy-Cons, handheld mode. Because it's just, they cramp. My hands cramp. My hands are too big. And they get crampy doing it that way. I don't mind split Joy-Con for certain games. Because I can rock with that better. But like sitting with my hands together like this, I don't have the comfort using the Joy-Cons. I still like the Joy-Cons, and I wish the tech in them would be utilized more. But Nintendo doesn't do that for whatever reasons. It's unfortunate and sad. And I wish they would. Basement. This Richard. I mean, that's what it is. It's the basement. You know, I got cool stuff in my basement, but I don't remember because it's down in the basement. You know, I don't know what's down there. I forget what's down there. So that's what it is. It's like the gaming basement on the Switch. Canty89 says Miiverse was a trip. Yeah, it was. Miiverse was incredible, says Andre Walker. Muhammad is LOLing Wii U, I guess. Wii U got more exclusives than the damn Xbox, dude. That's a dance. Just saying, bruh. Just saying. Free online, yo. No doubt. That Wii U game gameplay. Yeah, we had a great time. We had fun. I had I got stuck playing Mario Kart with my gamepad. That's not usually how I play it. But my pro controllers were dead, so I had my hands cramping playing Mario Kart using my gamepad. And when my controllers charged up, they wouldn't allow me to switch over. I had to back out the whole damn game. That's some strange stuff. That's some strange Wii U stuff right there. Wii U had folders. Yeah, let me pull up my Wii U real quick. Wii U. Turn it on. Wii U's great. So here's my Wii U. It's my gamepad. There you go. You can see it. All right, I'm starting it up, booting it up. You know, it's crusty. Looks extra crusty here. All right, so there we go. We're going in there, and I'm just looking at all my damn games on here, and I'm like, this is so cool. Let's see, scrolling over, and I don't have to. I do this because that's kind of how I like it. This is fine with me, but I'm able to scroll my entire library. I don't have to go into a basement. And I set these up the way, I'll remember them. I remember how this is set up, and I like the way it's set up. I have NES, and I can make folders, but this is almost like my shelf, my shelf collection. So I can scroll through all my games. And I think on the last page I have I have one folder. There it is, right there. Apps. You can see it. There's my folder for the apps. So my activity log and that kind of stuff is in there. What's the little wrench? What's that? To let you options. You go into the options and just kind of tweak things and your date and all that kind of stuff. So I have a folder for my apps, but that's it. And yeah, it's great. And so I started looking at it, I'm like, man, I miss having all this, cool stuff. And not having to go down into a basement to see the games that I bought that I have, So I wish the Switch at least, had some of that stuff. You get, let's see, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you get 12 games on the face, on the front, board where you can scroll. And then after that, you're going into the basement. That's where the rest of your stuff is. And I don't like that. I don't like it. And not to mention how bland it is, there's no life. Even this part of the Wii U UI looks, there's life to it. There's pizzazz. There's things moving, in the background. If you look, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's life in it. You can see the little shadowy stuff moving in the background there. And I'm going to flip to Wada Wada, and, I hate seeing Wada Wada like this, but at least there's some life. There's Mii's walking around. There's that music, the little, all the little chirps and sounds and stuff, and there's life in it. And I wish my Switch had some life in it. But yeah, that's Tokitori, says Sengoku. You like Tokitori? Yeah, I love the Tokitori series. So let's move on here. All right, so let's talk about what the title of this program suggests, right? Because I don't want to be whining about Nintendo too much. Because people complain about me complaining. And they continue to complain, and they don't see the irony in that. All right, so yeah, let's put this back to sleep. Move that over there. We'll get back into talking about Switch after this. All right, so there's rumors. E3 community is now live. Oh yeah, the E3 community is now live. That was so cool with Reggie's me pointing that out. That was just cool. You have people in the company, and their Mii's are living inside of your Wii U, living inside of your Nintendo console. That's cool. To me, that's very cool. And they pop up and they're dancing around Wada Wada Plaza. That the Nintendo feels. That's the Nintendo difference. So I wish Nintendo would get back to that. Too many business people running the toy company now, says Andre Walker. When we had a gamer running the show, he always wanted to make sure the fun element was never forgotten. Mwah! Beautifully put, Andre. Exactly. And I understand. This is a business, you know. Every business, show business is a business. It's show business, right? So you got to take care of that business side, but you can't forget the fun side. It can't just always be about what's going to make us money. And I don't understand fans who feel like bringing that up. Like, oh, it's a business. I mean, okay, I'm not, smarter than me. I understand it's a business. I run one, by the way. So smarter than me. I understand how that works. My point is, as a gamer, why do you care about it being a business? What does it do for you? The Nintendo business. As far as I care about Nintendo business and succeeding, is what does it bring for me? I don't have any stock in the company, and even if I did, I still would feel the same way because I'm a gamer first. So I would be like, what fun is being brought to me? What new cool games are being brought to me? That's all I care about. So Nintendo fans or any fans of any company pointing out the business side of stuff, I don't care. Well, why do you care? Like the business, the most you should care about the business is good business bringing you good things. That's it. That's all you should care about. Anything having to do with the business of Nintendo. Because telling me about the business of Nintendo makes you sound like an employee. And you're not. Unless you are. Or you're trying to be. But I don't want to hear employees speak from other gamers. I want to hear gamer talk. So that's how I feel about that. But anyway, let's get into E3. So, and I don't talk about rumors. Almost never. And the only reason I'm talking about rumors today is because these are rumors that I care about. These are rumors that I like. And I would have made a video talking about these wants anyway. So these are things that I want. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't think this is going to happen. I think this sounds like some fan saying, what do you want as a fan? These are things that I want. I want a new 2D Metroid and I want 3D Donkey Kong. Now, there's kind of conflicting reports about the Donkey Kong, but we're going to talk about it as in there being a 3D Donkey Kong, not a 2D Donkey Kong, because that's what I really want. Now, I'd be happy still for another country game, but we've had that imperfection, and that is this game. I don't think you're going to get better than this for a 2D Donkey Kong game. That's just me. This is not only a great 2D Donkey Kong game, this is one of the greatest 2D platformers ever created, right? So both of these together are two of the greatest 2D platformers ever created. So while I would be happy to have another one, of course I would, my excitement is more in something they haven't done. Again, I want stuff that you don't do. You haven't done this much. I want surprises. I want new things. So I'm more excited about a Donkey Kong that looks more like this one, Donkey Kong 64. Because I want to see Nintendo go outside of Mario, because Mario is the only 3D platformer they make, right? And I wish that wasn't the case, but it's the only one they make. So let's make a 3D platformer around this game. And on this game, when it came out, everybody loved it. And subsequently, after time, people saw the flaws in it. And it does have flaws. I still overall really like this game. I still think it's a overall really good game. And I'm showing you the whole thing. I'll explain why I'm showing you the N64 with it in a minute. I still like it. But the Nintendo difference on this game would be immense. It would be great. And so I'm pointing this out because I'm showing you my whole green N64. I have a few N64s. I have, 4, I think? This one I bought in 99 when this game came out. Only because I think I probably wouldn't have bought it because I was working at a grocery store at the time. And my manager got this for free. She got one for free. She wasn't a gamer. She didn't really play video games. But because she was a manager who did a promotional thing with one of the companies, they gave her this. They gave her N64 with the Jungle Green N64 with DK64 with it. And I was super jealous I already had an N64, but I was like, you got this. You're not even gonna play that. I bet she doesn't have it anymore. I would guarantee it almost. And I was like, I went out. This is the first time I went out and bought another console of a console I already had. I already had the gray N64, and then I went out and bought this because I was so compelled to with the jealousy. And this is what started me buying extra consoles. This is the first time. So I bought this. I later bought the Pikachu one, sold it. I just bought it back about a year ago. The Pikachu N64. And so this is the beginning of that. And the came with a nice jungle green controller, which is gorgeous. And I always liked how the yellow cartridge especially looked, and I'm sure, Nintendo's not stupid. They knew this went together well, the yellow and the green. Because on the cart itself, it's yellow and green. And it just matches beautifully. Let's put that back together. Look at that, nice and sharp. It just matches beautifully sitting in the system. So I always like, when I put this on display, I love having Donkey Kong 64 with it because it's gorgeous. It's just sexy. Like Retro Death says, that's a sexy color. I got to get me that, he says. You talking about this one? Yeah, this has been around forever. 1999 is when I got this. So, and there's something rumbling around in it, and I'll show you. It's the little clip. The little clip on this broke off. That's the only flaw in this system. And now it's down inside because it broke off and fell into that little crevice there. And there's rumbling. It's right there, actually. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it jumping around right there. So I'm going to open it up. I have never done it, but I'll open it up at some point. And as you can see, that also sexy because that red goes nice with the red and the lettering on the cartridge there. The expansion pack, which you need for this game. You need an expansion pack for this game because it had a game bug in it. It doesn't need it specifically for enhancing the game but it's some kind of bug that Rare could not figure out before the game came out. So Nintendo wasn't happy because they had to, they threw some expansion packs in with the game, and so that cost them some money. So there was that. But the game itself, I think, is a good game. I think, Rare was always a company that liked more and like to push and make things more expansive and bigger. They did that with Banjo-Tooie. And they did it. They certainly did it with Jet Force Gemini. Pretty much every game that came out after Banjo-Kazooie. They wanted to make it bigger and more expansive and just push the tech even more. Perfect Dark as well pushed it N64 to its limits, beyond its limits. But I love that about them. I love that they made N64 put out games that I never thought would look as good. Factor 5 as well. So, yeah. It had a memory leak. After a while, the game crashes, says Canty. Oh, you're talking about Donkey Kong 64? Yeah. So that's what's the issue with it. N64 had so many nice colors. I got the clear blue one with the ice clear. See, that's the one I kind of want, but it's so expensive right now. I never got the clear blue one, which is the ice one. I think it's ice blue is what they call it. And that's the one I want. But I also like the smoke. The clear black one. Oh, it looks really nice too. But those two systems together is about $400, and I don't know if I want to spend that on when I already have 4 N64s as is. But yeah, that was one of the things that made me start caring about, nice, cool looking, customizable. This was the era of like clear, see-through plastic with Apple and whatnot. The Apple Macs. The Power Macs were coming out, and the monitors had like a clear, green, clear blue, clear red colors on them, so you can see through them. You can see the inside. This is so late '90s, early 2000s. The Game Boy Advances, not Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance did it too, but before that, Game Boy Color. I bought an Atomic Purple. That's what they call it. Atomic Purple was just see-through purple. Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color, the ones that had the color screens, but we still had no backlight. So this is just that that '90s thing, that '90s color thing. Damn, the 90s were so colorful, says Sengoku. Exactly. It's just a cool 90s thing. So that's when I really got into that stuff with, clear and just buying extra consoles and different variations. That's when I first started doing that. Nintendo was smart. And that's why I wish, again, with the Switch, that they would do more of that. I'm not sure how much I'd buy them because I'm not happy with the build quality of the Switch so far with the cracking and all this nonsense that goes on with it. But it would still be a cool thing. Maybe tempt me to buy. I'm not going to buy a new Switch because of a dock, just because it has a cool design on the dock. That's why I bought my specialty docks, and I can put any design I want. I'll just put my plate on, whatever I'm feeling that day. I'll just put a new plate on it. But the dock is not going to move me to buy a new console, or even just a simple color. I need something cool, like with this lovely jungle green in 64. And I'm going to try to reach my controller here without knocking everything down. It's going to fall, right? No? It didn't fall. All right, so, but it's stuck on something over there. Why? All right. So here you go. Love this controller. A little dusty. Wipe that dust off. That N64 Atomic Purple. This is I don't have it anymore, but I had a Game Boy Color that looked like this. That had the clear purple, and I bought it because I wanted it to match my clear purple N64 controller, which is lovely. I love this thing. And I also have, here's the Pikachu one, also dusty. Oh no, the little thing fell off. Hang on. A little nub for the analog stick I put on. Look at that. Isn't that cool? A little Pokeball. So yeah, it's got yellow on one side, blue on the other, just like the console. Let me see if I can put that over there without making a mess. All right, there you go. So yeah, I want a Donkey Kong. I want a 3D Donkey Kong for my, for my next, Donkey Kong. Because again, like I said, this thing is phenomenal. This is probably as good as you're gonna get with the Donkey Kong, a 2D Donkey Kong. Sure, you get more visuals and all that good stuff, but I would love, and this, for the Switch, it should have came with this. It should have came with this game, even if they didn't HD it, which they should have, but it should have came with this, and then I would have bought it. It would have been there. That would have been value for me buying it again. But yeah, I just because Nintendo is great. And I think it was Red Knight some time ago. He was talking about Odyssey and how Odyssey could have easily been like a 3D Donkey Kong game because it is so different from world-wise than most Mario's, 3D Mario's especially. It could have easily been like a 3D Donkey Kong game, and it would have been phenomenal as well. You could have had Donkey Kong with the Cappy feature, but it makes more sense probably because Mario wears a hat. But it could have been ties, It could have been like Donkey Kong's tie comes to life, and different ties give you different abilities. That would have been super cool as well. And you know what? Even though they've done Cappy, I would be so in if they just say, all right, we're going to do ties for Donkey Kong, even at this point, even after Cappy, and say, this is the Donkey Kong game, and it's going to be, tie-y. I don't know. What would you call the tie person? Or the tie, yeah. The I guess the creature that is made of a tie, or that's inside of a tie. I would still be down for that. Let's see, retro. I love that whole see-through tech phase in the 90s. Yeah, 90s, early 2000s. Stefan Kraus, the Pro Switch will be a Switch without a dock and a headset used without the app and maybe better internet. I would be fine with that. But how much more powerful will it be? Nintendo really going to alienate all the people who bought a Switch and use, Switch games? Are they going to be able to run are new Switch games. Are they going to give out new hardware, new kits for these companies to say, hey, you have to make this game work on the current Switch as well as the new Switch. Is that going to be more work, or companies want to be do that? Want to be doing that? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to want to do that, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, a new Donkey Kong 3D would be phenomenal. Um, Andre Walker says maybe call him Tye. Hey, yeah, I mean that'd be cool. Uh, Donkey Kong 3D Country, yeah, that's you can call it that. Oh no, my what's going on? Oh, there it is. My mouse wasn't working for a minute there. Yeah, Donkey Kong 3D World. I can't call it 3D World. 3D Country. That's perfect, Mohammed. Um, see if I missed any good stuff. I scroll up a little bit. I want a 3D Donkey Kong game, but I reckon it's gonna be 2D. Says Sardonic. I don't know. I don't know if that's a given. It could be a given because Nintendo is very safe on Switch, and that's one of my biggest gripes. A 3D Donkey Kong is not unsafe. It just probably would take more work, more production time, more development time, but it would still sell. There's no way in the world a new 3D Donkey Kong game would not sell. You know, I think it would definitely sell better than Donkey Kong a Country Returns would. Tropical Freeze, it was definitely going to sell better than those games. I guarantee you a 3D Donkey Kong will sell better than those games. DK64 HD. Now, there's some flaws with DK64, so I'm going to talk about them briefly. Like I said, Rare wanted bigger and bigger and more and more and better looking on on the N64. On the Super Nintendo even, but mostly on N64. They wanted better looking, bigger games. And so after they found their footing with their first initial games, up until Banjo-Kazooie, they were like, we can do more. So they got the idea of the Kongs, all the different Kongs, which is fine. But the problem with that is that every Kong had separate bananas that you had to get. They had separate medals. They just had separate, almost everything, separate blueprints to find, and you only could touch them with the certain Kong, because otherwise you just walk right through the stuff, and you couldn't collect them. So, to me, that is the most major problem with the game. Had there not been so many collectibles that you can only collect while you're certain Kongs, that would be, because you have to sit there and memorize. Oh, okay, where did I see this one thing? Where did I see that? You either memorize or you just mentally say, I'm going to go through every level with every Kong one by one. That's not really fun. It can be fun for some people who are kind of, OCD about stuff. And I can be sometimes, but when it comes to games, certain games I do that kind of stuff with, but that's not going to work for everybody. It's not going to work for the masses. So you want, you want the game to flow more freely. So the way to do that, I think, is that, only certain Kongs can reach these new areas, right? Instead of having them get their own, not apples, having them get their own bananas and all that kind of stuff, maybe have areas that only this Kong can access, that Kong can access. Do that, and the game it's phenomenal. It's a perfect game. But because you had to do so much backtracking, needless backtracking, and collecting, blue bananas and yellow bananas and green bananas, orange bananas, only certain Kongs can collect. That kind of stuff is what bogged the game down and made it super tedious. I think even some of the required arcade games you had to play. It's so funny because that was a problem. That was a gripe people had with ukulele, because they continued to do that in ukulele, where they had these arcade games that you had to play. And you had to play them well to collect certain things. I think that should have been bonus stuff, not regular run-of-the-mill golden banana stuff, but bonus stuff for the game. Then that's fine. You can make the player decide, I don't want to play that, or I don't have to do that unless I want to. and make it a side thing. So that was another problem. But those were the only two problems I saw with Donkey Kong 64. Other than that, game's great. Level design is great. It's beautiful, and it's, for the time, it's one of the best looking games. I looked at it and my jaw dropped. I thought this is a gorgeous, gorgeous freaking game. And I loved all the different characters and the music. And who doesn't love DK rap? I think people hated on it back then, but I think most people have come around to loving it. So let's see what you guys are saying here. We've already had Ty, the Tasmanian tiger. Says Clock. Richard Death. The way to fix that, allow you to switch between Kongs at will. That's another thing. Allow you to switch instead of having to find, those barrels. If I could just switch, but even if you did that, you'd want to be switching for a reason, not just to collect stuff. You want to be going in different paths. So that still would have fixed Donkey Kong 64. Had you just been able to switch whenever you felt like it. Once you found all the Kongs, because you have to unlock them, you have to save them. So once you find them all, be able to just switch at will to whatever Kong you need. That would have fixed it. Completely agree with that. Clocked it. I agree that I agree T. That's the only major problem I had with the game, but overall DK64 is a good game. Really fun in parts. Yeah, it's really fun. Some really good level design, some cool enemy stuff. There's some cool boss battles I really like. I certainly remember the first boss battle, which is that kind of tank turtle thing. It just was amazing, the size of it and how good it looked. And that at that time, I loved that game. I loved how that boss battle went. I loved that. Just, everything was cool about that. How it was like raining. It was kind of dark and stormy, and the graphics just looked so good. And the sound is great. Rare was so good at doing that kind of transitioning sound stuff. So when you would go to certain areas and your music would change, and the instruments would switch with coincide with the area you're in. Just really cool stuff. But yeah, I think the DK64 is a good game, but it's just mired by certain gameplay decisions. Sengoku. I have the VHS of DK Country. Yeah, me too. I still have my VHS of Country and VHS for N64, Donkey Kong 64, the promo VHS. So, yeah. Very cool. Very cool you got that. Burn it. Burn what? The VHS? You crazy. All right, so yeah, I would love a 3D Donkey Kong, no doubt. And now, also the rumor have been about this character. So, the guy was saying 200%. They've got a new 2D Metroid for Switch. It's done. And so I feel like if it's done, we'll probably see it at E3, if it's a real thing. And so you guys see this. This is Metroid 2 Return of Samus. This is actually Metroid Samus Returns, the remake. So this is a reversible. It's very cool. They give you the Game Boy kind of style. But it's a reversible cover there. So Metroid Samus Returns. But I like that. I'm going to keep it on the Game Boy side. I think that's very cool. I don't know if every game... all of them come up with it? It's only the special edition ones. I don't know. And it's cool because they show you the Samus, the Metroid 2 screens for Game Boy on the back. So that's cool. But yeah. It's weird. I never noticed that before. Huh. Yeah, so I'm certainly down with that. I love 2D Metroid. My favorite one is that one. This is a repro case, by the way. Metroid Zero Mission. I love it. The original Metroid, basically enhanced using Super Nintendo graphics or Game Boy Advance graphics, and better quality of life stuff. With maps and all that good stuff. It's Metroid. So I actually have. This is a repro copy because I have this game digitally. but that's not a repro of Metroid Fusion, which is another one of my favorites. So I just keep them together in here. But yeah, Zero Mission, I think it to me is the best one. It's the best 2D Metroid game, with Super Metroid being next, and then Fusion after it. But yeah, I hope that's a thing. I hope that's true. And it said, is it Mercury Steam? They said is, I wonder if Mercury Steam's name is even on. Probably not. It's on the case here. Maybe on their regular side. No. It's just Nintendo, because it's published by Nintendo. They only show they should show the developer on there somewhere though. Anyway, I believe Mercury Steam is the name of the company that's making it. That made it, because apparently it's already done. So let's see. So what are you saying? If it's done, they'll show it. Has Pikmin 4 been a lie all along? Yeah, like I don't know if they'll show it, because Nintendo has been on this kind of we'll wait until right before it comes out showing it thing. I don't know if they're gonna do it for everything, but they have done that. So maybe a couple months before it launches, they'll go into like marketing mode for it. So they may not even show it if it's a thing at E3. But I hope and pray if Donkey Kong 64, the Donkey Kong 3D, whatever it's going to be, happens. I hope that it is indeed shown at E3. And obviously, Breath of the Wild 2. I don't see why they wouldn't show it. To me, I don't see how that game isn't coming out this year. But I don't know. I'm just speculating. But I don't see how, because this is the anniversary of Zelda. Are we only going to get Skyward Sword? Probably not. I'm not sure. But I would expect, hopefully that we get more. We get a new. They're at least going to show. I think they're at least going to show Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever it's called. Even if it's not coming this year, I think they'll at least show it. But I hope, I believe it's coming this year. I don't see how it passes this year, but could, I don't know. But there's other things in the works, because we know they're working on a new Mario. That's something they actually announced, I believe. They have been working on that for a couple of years now, at least. But I would be totally fine to push that new Mario out in favor of Donkey Kong. I think Donkey Kong's 40th is this year, if I'm not mistaken. Donkey Kong's 40th, yeah, 81, right? 81 is when Donkey Kong Arcade came out. So that would make this year Donkey Kong's 40th. And technically the 40th year for Mario, at least Mario the character, but not Super Mario, obviously. But yeah, like, I would totally be down with a new Metroid. Will it be another remake? I hope not. But isn't Metroid's anniversary this year too? Oh man. Or is it next year? Did Metroid come out in 86 or 87? If it's 87, it's next year. If it's 86 is this year. I can't remember. I have to look that up. Anyway. Clishu One Art. What's up? Retro Death. If a 2D Metroid is true, I want it to look hyper realistic. Yeah. A few years ago, during the Wii U era, somebody had done like this hand-drawn thing for like a remake of Super Metroid, and it had this kind of super realistic look to it, and it looked very cool. It was hand-drawn, but it looked like a video game screen, of Metroid, Super Metroid, and it was awesome. So I'd be totally down for that. Something I just want it to look drastic, I wanted to have a drastic, kind of a really unique look. That's what I want from Mario. I want Mario 2D Mario, if they ever make another one, to have a drastic visual change. To make it stand out. The way Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island was a drastic visual difference from Super Mario World. I want to see something like that. So I'd be down totally, big time for that. Um, but yeah, I would love there to be a new Metroid, 2D Metroid in the works to hold us over for Metroid Prime. But I do want at E3, I want some Metroid Prime news. It's time. It's 4 years since we got the initial, kind of teaser, or whatever you want to call that. 2 years, more than 2 years after, them telling us they're restarting it. So something would be nice for Metroid Prime 4. Please show us something. There's nothing wrong with that. Now Bayonetta, I don't know. If it's not coming out like say August, Bayonetta 3, we might not get anything at E3. But if it's coming out, later this year, but I don't know. Again, if Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out later this year, there's not a huge window there. So we're talking October game, September maybe. Could be a September game, October for Bayonetta if it happens this year. It should. But then you have other games, other stuff coming out like No More Heroes 3. And so that's the problem with squeezing all your games out at the end of the year, is that you're squeezing them out and they don't have enough time to breathe. Games don't have enough time to breathe. So Nintendo's going to have to figure out how to do this better. But I hope all these games that have kind of been hanging in the balance, like Bayonetta 3, like Breath of the Wild, like Metroid Prime, we get some cool new visual representation for it. Let us see what it looks like. Let us see where you're going with it. Blow the doors open on Zelda. Like, we need to see what this world is about. What is the, where's it going? What's the struggle in this one? We would like to see that. Is the world rebuilding? What's going on? I want to see that kind of stuff. Are we gonna spend a little bit of time in Hyrule and maybe some time in a Termina-like area world or a dark world or something like that? I'd be totally. I need to see something. We need to see something at this point. Not another teaser trailer, says Muhammad. Yes, please. No more teasers. Show us what it looks like. At this point, you have a build, right? You have some worlds. You have a direction. Let us see where you're going. Let us see. Let the developers talk. Let Retro Studios talk in this direct video you're going to be uploading. I want to see it. Sengoku. What do you think about Metroid Federation Force? Haven't played it yet. I think it's a good game. The problem with Metroid Federation Force is that it was the first Metroid announcement for like 6 years. When did the other M come out? 2010, right? So yeah, and it was this kind of chibi arena shooter, and people wanted another Prime. But the game itself is solid. It's obviously better played with more people, but I had fun playing it by myself. It's still a solid game. It's solid, It's unfortunate that it's called Metroid Prime Federation Force. If it was just called like Federation Force, or even just Metroid Federation Force, then it would have been fine. I don't think people would have been people would still been kind of butthurt because, again, no Metroid game for so long. But I think people would have been fine with it. And even if at that time you had been told, yeah, we're working on a remake of Metroid, of a new Metroid game. We're gonna remake of an old Metroid game, Samus Returns, or Return of Samus. Then I think people would have been like not so harsh. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. So Metro Federation Force would be a cool little kind of distraction, and then we'll get the real Metroid game in Return of Samus, or Samus Returns. So I think it would have been fine. But yeah, it's a good game. I like the visuals. I like the graphics. I think the gameplay is engaging enough. Um, a lot more fun with friends, but yeah, it's fine. Let's see. I don't think I missed much there. Zero Mission, awesome game, quite difficult to master. See, now for me, I can see where Zero Mission would be tough for a lot of people, but because I was so used to the original Metroid, um, it was going home again. You know, it was like going home again, but somebody bought you really nice new furniture. you know, if I can describe it that way. So you know all the ins and outs of that house, except for the fact there's pretty new furniture, sitting around. So for me, it wasn't as tough, and the game flowed so much better than the original, and it just looks better, obviously, because you're not dealing with a bunch of kind of black, backgrounds that you used to deal with on the NES. So, but yeah, so I would love, like I said, a new 3D Donkey Kong. I want that more than a 2D one, but I'll take either one. Obviously, you can see my DK Bongo over there, and that was the last Donkey Kong game in a while that Nintendo themselves had done was Jungle Beat. Um, and they were kind of playing off of Country, and then basically Returns came out, and it was Jungle Beat without the bongos, but way better. Um, Visually styled, it looks very similar to Returns, but gameplay wise, obviously, it's a lot different. The level design is much better. It's more designed as a platformer, not like you having to worry about using a bongo controller. So still very cool. But yeah, outside of that, I don't really know what to look forward to. I mean, I wouldn't mind a surprise as well at E3. Of a storied franchise coming back. A F-Zero or a Star Fox or something like that. If we got the E3 and Nintendo announced that Ubisoft was working on Star Fox. Mwah, 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 mwah. After Starlink, I'm so down for that. Like, the way Rabbids worked out, Mario plus Rabbids worked out. I know Star Fox after the Starlink team worked on it. Worked on that segment with the R-Wing and just the Star Fox storyline. I know they would do some lovely justice to the next Star Fox game. And Nintendo has talked about it. They've openly talked about handing their IPs off to other studios because they're talking about their development costs and whatnot. That's something they are doing. Obviously, we've had that in the past, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft was working on Ubisoft team, the Starlink team was working on a new Star Fox. So, Visor Grunt King of Swing HD for $60. Thank you very much. I forgot about King of Swing. Oh boy, was that DS? King of Swing, good stuff. Retro Death, more like Skyward Board. What are you talking about, Skyward Board? Get ready for a limited time release of his Zelda 3D collection. Man, if they do that again, that would be insane for them to do that. If a 2D Metroid is true, okay, I read that already. They better not do that again. They better not put out a limited time release anytime soon. Maybe they'll get away with it after a while and people forget. But don't do that anytime soon, Nintendo. Don't do it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to E3, not just for Nintendo, but for other companies as well. I have a Series X, and Microsoft isn't as secretive as Nintendo is. So they need to. And the Xbox Series X is selling pretty well. I think it's 3 million behind the PS5, which is, you know, makes sense to me because Japan, they're not going to do as well there. So I think Microsoft is probably pretty happy with the sales so far, and especially with Game Pass and how it's doing. But I would love to see them really blow out at E3, and I think they should at this point because there's been a lot of waiting, a lot of waiting. We think we've been waiting long for Metroids, and we have as Nintendo fans and Bayonettas and all that stuff. But as if you're on the Microsoft side, you're on the Xbox side, you've been waiting a lot. So they have to blow out Halo Infinite. Obviously, it has to look great, and I believe it will. Muhammad Alabi, Halo Infinite. Yes, Halo Infinite needs to be amazing. You can't have another Craig moment for Halo Infinite, and it has to come out this year. There's a lot of there's some speculation that it's not ready. It better be ready this year, and I would hope that Microsoft would have at least one other game that we're not expecting, a big title to come out as well. At least just one. They should have probably more. But I'm looking, also forward to their E3. I would say I'm looking forward to Sony's E3, but they're not going to be there. And it's so funny how I think Red Knight even pointed this out that, and I agree with this completely. I don't agree with everything he says when it comes to Sony and whatnot, but I agree with this. Sony has been the most coddled company in the history of gaming from their inception. Media-wise, they've been super coddled, and it hasn't been until lately they've actually been taking a few hits here and there. But they're so coddled in the media. The media lets them get away with so much crap. And like E3, because remember, Nintendo said they announced that we weren't going to be doing any, in-person press conferences at E3. Oh my God, Nintendo is bowing out of E3. They can't compete. It's done. Nintendo is done. They can't compete. They're giving up on E3. There's all this stuff about that. All these, not just fans talking about that. There were, news articles from gaming, gaming journalists were talking about, Nintendo bowing out of E3, even though their presence there was still the same. They still had probably some of the biggest, best booths and all this stuff. We all know. We all know, how it went down, how it goes down with that. But I remember during the pandemic, the first time we lost E3 was it last year? 2020. Sony's the first to announce that they're not going to be at E3, and they talk about it as if it's because of COVID, and I didn't believe it. And they're not showing up this year either for a digital E3. Why wouldn't they have something to show for a digital E3? And there's crickets. I think even IGN was still talking about them when they talked about their E3 stuff. And it's like, why are you talking about Sony at E3 when they're not going to be there? They're going to have no presence at E3 whatsoever this year. And yet, these companies still felt like they had to mention Sony. And that's just, that's minor side of how Sony has been, coddled by the gaming press for decades. I could talk about, because Microsoft got a lot of, they still do. They get a lot of crap for, especially during the 360 era when they would, had these deals that would lock up games. But Sony had been doing that a long time before. They had been doing that during the PS1 era, where they would, run in, swoop in, and lock up, games for their system. and make sure nobody else gets them. They did that with Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider came out on Sega Saturn first, and it was exclusive for a few months. But Sony went in and snatched that IP up and made it exclusive to PlayStation after that for a couple of years. For I think for 2 and 3, for Tomb Raider 2 and 3, and then you got on Dreamcast. I think you got Last Revelation. That's when they let that kind of go away. But they've been doing that for a long time, but they never got the kind of vitriol that Microsoft got from day one. But I can go over that. But they're not going to be there, so I can't really say much about them. I am excited to see what whatever they feel like showing it, the next VR iteration of VR for the PlayStation 5. I'm interested in seeing that, but let's see. Yep, I remember Adam Sessler, says Visor Grunt. Adam Sessler making a rant video about Nintendo not doing a press event, and like with G4, original Nintendo outlasted his website. Right. I remember that rant. That silly rant. You would never hear that for a Sony. You would never hear anything like that for a Sony. Sony came out on the PS4 with almost nothing. And, it sold well anyway because Sony is a strong brand. And nobody said it needs this, it needs that, this and this and that. Like the way Adam Sessler was going crazy. But yeah, Sengoku, Sony PlayStation in America is different from Japan, but their HQ is now moved to California. Right, yeah, I mean, there is no Sony Japan anymore. Sengoku, unfortunately, which is sad to me because I really love Astrobot. Like Astrobot, I talked about this before. Astrobot should be, and Astrobot is going to hang around as far as I know, but it's going to be maybe a different feel to it because Japan Studio is not going to be Japan Studio. It's not anymore. So, but I like what Japan Studio does. What was another Japan Studio game I really like? Was it Puppeteer? Like they make some cool stuff. Some really, unique games. And they make Little Big Planet? I can't remember. But anyway, I think so. They've been coveted. They've been coddled for quite some time in this industry. And I find it annoying. And I've seen it for a long time. I saw it back during the PS1 era, PS2 especially. Oh my gosh. They buried the GameCube with their nonsense. And the GameCube didn't sell well. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's factual. And I know a lot of Nintendo fans love some PlayStation. And I get it. And that's why they give a pass to when they see that kind of stuff happen. But I don't. To me, I still see it. And I'm not going to give them a pass. And I think it's crazy for people to be mentioning Sony when they're talking about their E3 hype. Because they're not going to be there. But I feel like they feel like they have to mention them or Sony will be upset. Even though Sony decides they don't want to be at E3. They don't want to participate. That's on them. It's crazy. All right, let's see. Oh, clocked it, bounced. Enjoy the rest of the stream, T. I need to bounce. As for E3, we're all gamers. We should be excited, and hopefully the big end brings it. No doubt. No doubt about it. Visor Grunt. Oh, I read that already. The Adam Sessler stuff. Sony first party is quite lacking except some third party exclusives, and games are still coming out on PS4. Yeah, like for me, I don't even... The only Sony IP that I even care about is Uncharted. And Uncharted is done. Sorry. Horizon. I do like Horizon. I'm looking forward to Forbidden West. But I don't like Horizon as much as I like Uncharted. And so I don't know if they're going to even do another Uncharted or not. Supposedly it's gone. They're not making them anymore. So there's that. I don't care about God of War. I mean, I'll play it, but it's not something I get up for. It's not something I buy a system for. Um, and Forbidden West is coming to PS4, so I only have to buy PS5 for that. Because I don't care about the extra bells and whistles of the PS5 just yet. Um, so they don't have an IP that I care anything about. I don't care about Last of Us. Never. I tried. I'm still gonna finish Last of Us, the first game, and upon completion of that game, I'll decide if I'll get part two. But again, it's not an IP I get up for and get crazy about. Cornelius says, "What's the rumor now?" I don't know if you've heard it or not, Cornelius, but they've talked about a 3D Donkey Kong or just a new Donkey Kong and a 2D Metroid. Those are the rumors. Apparently, the 2D Metroid is the strongest possibility, but who knows, right? Um, but yeah, Sony's first party for me, is what I know a lot of people love it. They love those games, but they don't move me. Where's the siphon filters? Bringing those back. Excite me. You know, they don't really have anything for me right now. Did I read that? Sony gets away with so much crap, says Nintendo guy. Very few people are talking about the CMOS battery DRM that's affecting the PS3, PS4, and PS5. Yeah, now that Sony has said, we're going to keep the stores open for a little bit longer, people have just moved off of that. And this is something Sony could fix like that. I can see why they won't do it with the PS4 just yet, because those servers are still going, and they would care about being affected from the stores and whatnot. People, doing certain things, hacking and whatnot. But as far as the PS3 goes, they could do it right now. They could put out a patch that stops the requirement of that CMOS battery to identify your console and your games. They could do that in a patch and be done with it, and and it wouldn't affect them. Nobody's doing any funny business on the PS3 at this point. So unlock it. A simple patch would do it. PS4, I can see why they would still wait on that one, because it's still a console that's it sells. That's their main console still at this point, even though PS5 is slowly building up. So they might wait on that CMOS, update for that one. But let people know that you're going to do it at some point at least. Say, hey, we're working on unlocking the CMOS battery from your account, and you don't have to worry about, if you have to change it or whatever, it will affect you. They probably look at it as like not too many people, outside of the hardcore are paying attention, even care about that stuff. So there's not enough people for us to care at this point. They need people to keep focusing on this for them to do something about it. Let's see, Sengoku. I like Gran Turismo, but that's about it. Yeah, Gran Turismo, but I stopped caring about Gran Turismo when Forza came around. Forza was, they came out more. I didn't have to wait a whole console generation for another one. And they were just as good, if not better, than Gran Turismo for me. Very similar. They're, car simulators. They're racing sims. Hardcore racing sims. Which, I really like. So, yeah, outside of that, I've kind of moved on even from GT. Like, I don't care as much about GT. I'll still play it, but because there's an alternative to me that's taking that steam, which is Forza, I don't care as much. But yeah, I hope Microsoft really blows it out, really shows some really cool stuff, and makes it worthwhile. Makes E3 really cool because we need it. It's been a tough year and a half. We need, as gamers, we just people in general. We need some cool things, something cool. We're coming out of this freaking pandemic, slowly but surely. We're coming out of it, and I think by the end of the summer, we'll be in really good shape if everything works out. So it'd feel good to get back to normal in gaming. Even though obviously we're not having a in-person E3, they care enough to do something this year on the digital front, and I'm excited for that. And I hope my excitement is translated through them like putting on really good shows. Microsoft, you have to bring it, man. Like, you got to bring it. You can lay out what you have this year, but lay out next year too, because next year should be a stellar year for Xbox. With your acquisitions and things finally coming to fruition, the stuff you're doing with xCloud, Nintendo needs to be worried, because its niche right now is the portable console that can go with you. But xCloud is coming, man, and Nintendo needs to be worried about that. That's why I said they can't sit back and just rest on their popularity right now and what they've got going right now in the sales of the Switch. They can't sit back and rest on that. End of summer, Samurai Warriors 5. Is that coming out the end of the summer? Oh, cool. I had forgotten. But yeah, Nintendo needs to worry about stuff like that because that's going to take steam out of their go anywhere you want to go, play your games. Because, if I could take certain games with me anywhere and play them on my phone, on my tablet especially, the Switch won't be as cool. Because I'll be playing, those, especially if you're on if you have, what's it called? Game Pass and whatnot. And it's no muss, no fuss. It's like I'm taking my tablet anyway. And I can log in from my tablet and play my games, continue. Like, that is it's cool. If not more cool. It's more cool than what the Switch is doing. So they have to be worried about that. They have to, bring it. I would like Nintendo, to really think about the next console and what they're going to do. Like, my idea was they do something like what Apple does with, the Apple OS and whatnot, where they have... I can't play everything on my iPad that I have. I can't use every program on my iPad. Or I can't use every program on my iPad that I use on my MacBook or my Mac Pro, because they all won't run, but certainly will run. And I think Nintendo needs to think of something like that along those lines, of where, yes, they have a dock, and the dock is supplemental, but when you pull that game, that tablet part, whatever, out of the dock, you're still getting the same experience. Maybe you can't play everything, but you can play a lot of your stuff just using your tablet on the go device. And then you can come back and dock it, But and it's got to cost money. I mean, it's gonna cost you some money, and Nintendo should not be afraid of. I mean, I think they're just afraid of going above $300. They think that's kind of what hurt them with Wii U, the price of it. It wasn't just the cost. If they had a lot of other things right, I think the Wii U still would have sold really well. Advisor Grunt, Nintendo can't pull a Wii and wait until year 4 with dying sales to go, oh, now now what? Then rush. Yeah, that's what they did with Wii U. They were coasting along. And then 2010, 2011 was the last year of Wii. That's year 4. Remember, Wii came out in 2006, late 2006. And by mid 2011, the Wii was dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, dead. And they can't do that again. So this whole we're halfway through. Are you? Are you sure about that? Because I think because things are developing the same way with the Wii. Um, they weren't too crazy about not making the Wii a HD console when it came out because not a lot of people had HD TVs, but people adopted HD so quick that Nintendo was caught off guard with that and got left behind in many ways. They really should just made it an HD console, and they would have been ahead of the game as far as HD development on Wii U. They wouldn't have had those issues that they had. So they can't let that happen again. Because, like I said, this popularity that you got right now might not last. Just like with the Wii. We just called it the Wii U. People, no, that ain't gonna be enough, Chief. You have to do more. Wish Nintendo stuck with their strong Wii U mentality. Yeah, I do too. But I think, again, business wise, they were like, does it make sense business wise? Because it didn't sell. But there was many factors to why the Wii U didn't sell. It wasn't one thing over the other. Wii U was more powerful than companies were willing to deal with, because a lot of companies were only using one of the CPUs cores in the Wii U, and so that's why you had shoddier third-party ports, multiplats, because they weren't utilizing the entire system. And you can say lazy developers, but the way games were designed were changing. They started becoming more GPU heavy over the CPU, and so that could just have been a cost issue with a lot of companies. I don't get into all that, so I just know the kind of outlying stuff, so I don't really get into the core of that, the hardware arguments. But yeah, they could have done more. But that's it. That's all I got for y'all. I guess I can show you. I somewhat. Oh, I don't have them here. Oh yeah, so this is I can show you. I did a video maybe a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, after somebody on Reddit shared their what do you call it? The Nintendo brochures, the holiday kind of sales brochure. It's not really a brochure. It's a catalogs for upcoming GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and up to DS games. And so I found a couple of mine. Here's my original, what is it, holiday, winter 2003 GameCube guide. This one's water damaged, but some really nice pages in here showing up and coming stuff for Game Boy Advance. And let's see if I can find it really, like the quality of the images in these pages. I was like, the GameCube can put out graphics like that? Let's see, it's gonna be hard. Freaking lights and stuff. But you can't really tell looking at it here. But the sharpness of the quality of these images here, must be like raw from development kits or something footage. I mean, it's so clean. I don't think any TV at that time could output visuals like this. But I kept digging. I'm like, I know I got more. And so I found my DS one. I think I showed this one as well. This one has some really cool pages in it. Oh, look in there. Aloha. A Pokemon. What do you call these? Postcards. And this one is from Super Mario 64. I think this is before it came out. This is some kind of brochure to show Mario 64. So this is before the N64 came out. And as you can see, I don't know if you can even see the quality of the material here. But this is like almost like you can hear it flickering and whatnot. Hard plastic page there. But yeah, some really quality. This survived water damage, like direct hits. You can see the wobbly in it. You can see the wobbly nature of it, where the water hit it and then it dried and Kind of gives that water damaged look. But they survived. But I found more. So I actually have two of these. So this one's missing a couple of pages, but my other one is not. And it looks a lot better. It was not water damaged. So I must have grabbed two of these and didn't realize it. These were down hidden in my comic book collection. So that's why I didn't know where they were. But I knew I had more. So there's a duplicate. I think I showed this one. But this is like, what is this, 2002? So this is early GameCube. This is winter 2002 catalog. And let me see. Because there's certain things, and here we go. I don't know if they show it here. But I think I have an earlier one. You can see the GameCube memory cards. But there was also a GameCube memory card that would accept SD cards into it. But I think Nintendo said, oh, why would we do that? People would just end up buying one of these and then SD cards. And that hold way more space. And they could also do some hacking stuff to our system. So we don't want to do that. So I think they scrapped that memory card that accepted SD. So it was kind of like, the mini SD. You have the little, you have the regular size SD cards, but then you have the mini SDs that are really small, the ones that go in the Switch. But they have a housing to make them the regular size again. So if you want to use them into regular SD card slots, you can put the mini SD card into one of those little adapters, and then you can. So that's what it was. It was a GameCube memory card adapter for an SD card, and I think they got rid of that pretty quickly. And so here's another one. This is late, I think. This is winter 2005. Yeah, this is like, because you can see the what was it called? Game Boy Micro. This is in pretty good shape. This one didn't get water damage. And again, the image quality in these things are great. I need to scan these and upload them. Roy Relapse, what's up? So, oh, look at that. Mario Baseball. Look how clean. It's going to be hard to tell how clean that looks, but that is really sharp. That's a really sharp image. And I'm like, does my GameCube output graphics like that? And these booklets made you think they did. But my TV was never good enough, if any TV was, to put out visuals like that. But yeah, these are cool. And this one's summer 2005. Yeah, I would grab these things, man, because they were free. Why not? And I liked collecting crap. So some nice images there. What game is that? Dragon Ball GT. Was that for Game Boy Advance? Yeah. This just takes me back, man. Just looking at these images. Nostalgia, man. Nostalgia. Medal of Honor, European Assault. Just great stuff. I'm about to do a standalone video on these things, but very good. And then the last one I have is the Coming Holiday 2004 one. And again, really nice images. I mean, they have to be, because this is like advertising, So, really good stuff. Need for Speed. Look at Tiger Woods. He look kind of derp. Kind of look derp face there. Tiger Woods derp face. Super MetalDave salt face. I think that's what it was. Hilarious. But yeah. That's all I got for you folks. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get that dinner on. Get my dinner on. Got to get my dinner on. So, give you a couple minutes if you got anything you want to ask. And then rightfully bounce out of here. Game Boy Micro with action buttons. Letter not in caps. Oh, was that what was in the magazine? Oh, cool. I'm going the wrong way there. Let's see. I think I missed the question earlier. Capable Ty said I would be so disappointed by 2D DK being made by the Odyssey team. Yeah, I think I wanted to point that out. I don't want the Odyssey team making a 2D game. You know, like Odyssey is so fantastic. I think making a 2D game is almost beneath them. Why would you want to limit that team to a 2D plane? I don't think that's a smart move. Great point, Capable Ty. No, because if they're making a Donkey Kong game, I would almost guarantee it wouldn't be a 2D Donkey Kong game. It would be a 3D one, unless Nintendo was being super safe and cheap, and just wanted to get something out with Donkey Kong's name on it in a quick amount of turnaround. They could be doing that, but I don't think they would. But yep, that's it, folks. I don't see any questions. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for joining my stream. I appreciate it. I'm gonna keep doing these Sunday ones because they seem to be. I'm not butting heads with anybody else's stream. I'm in a good time here. I wanted to do it earlier, like 3:30. I want to keep that slot. I think that's a good slot. So expect my next one, at least my next Tea Talk, to be. I'm going to get into. I was waiting on something to come in so I can do some game streaming during the week. So I got it now. I need to do a video. Where is it? If I can find it. I'll take it apart without losing the stuff to it. I'm going to do a video on this lovely device here that is basically replacing my Elgato. Can I get a sharper image? There we go. This is a generic capture card that does 4K 30. It doesn't do 4K 60, but it does 1080p 60. And it works brilliantly. The issues I would have with my Elgato, which cost me $150, I do not have with this device that cost me all of $21. It wasn't even 21, it was like 20 and some change I paid for this. So I'm going to do a video on this, show you guys this. Those of you who want an affordable capture card that does really good work, this one does it. It is great. I came upon some videos on YouTube and I checked it out for myself, and it's phenomenal. I'm going to actually end up selling my Elgato because it's useless right now. I don't even use it. This is what I use. This combined with OBS Streamlabs is my capture card now, and I stream with this. I've done tests on it. It's great. It works great. It's phenomenal. I love this thing. And I'm going to do a video on it. And I implore you guys, $20 to pick this up. All right, so that's it. Thank you guys for watching and listening. And of course, I'll see you next time. I'm trying to do this really smooth, but I'm messing up here. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.